Host Mary, Mr. Moonshine speaking, and well, I was feeling inspired and thinking I'm gonna lay down some um, musical constructs, and then it got me thinking it might be worth sharing some of these ideas with people who might be interested in finding out how it's all done. Maybe even musicians who want to pick up a few pointers along the way or some inspiration. Um, we all find ourselves getting stuck sometimes, and it could be a good way to share ideas and explore the type of things that make electronic music good, really. Um, the idea here is that this is a session about sound design. I'm just going to step behind the camera quickly and see if everything's running while I'm going here. Common problem of streaming is that it doesn't always work. So let me just see my sound levels. I think it can. Yeah, I think as far as my voice is concerned, I don't want to be like overpowering whatever sounds I'm producing. So I think that's okay. All right. So what I was thinking about doing is making like some kind of an up-tempo psytrance, and it got me thinking about how bass lines have changed over the past few years. These days, I think you don't really begin music, electronic music, without the bass line. You can't do that anymore. The music is bass line with other stuff in between. So, yeah, yeah, I've been playing around tonight with some ideas. I pretty much use Operator probably for way too much, but I use it for everything. So there's no reason for me to avoid using Operator in terms of making bass lines, and that's kind of my go-to instrument for making new sounds really quickly in Ableton. So I'm dropping in an Operator, and you see this talk isn't going to be some kind of a 4K screen cap production with pre-rolls and end rolls in order to satisfy the deeper noob inside us. This is more to satisfy the tech expert inside you, the one that wants to understand sound design on a deeper level and doesn't want me to talk about what a sine wave is or what a harmonic is or anything like that. So I'm not going to talk about the things that I'm supposed to gloss over here. I'm going to talk about the sound and what I want from it. Um, I've been playing around with subtractive synths a little bit lately, and what I like about them is what they lack in what we would call texture, they make up for in spades with cleanliness. And a nice, clean bass sound is a perfect environment to flange out and enrich, where a busy bass line is very difficult to create that, what we would hear as a holographic or a 3D bass sound. It's very hard to get that kind of chorus or flanging sound out of it. And that's so commonplace in psytrance these days. So what I'm going to try and do is kind of like rig up some uh, some oscillation. I'm going to get a saw. This is a bit loud on my ears, so I'm just going to bring this down a bit. All right, so I've got two sine waves that I've set up here, but I'll bring them up in a minute. I want to listen to the saw first. And saws are kind of fat and fun. They kind of like make you feel like there's kind of something suppressed in the sound system, and they have that badass feeling, like that. You can hear a saw over the smallest tweeter, and it sounds bassy, and that's what I like about them, is that level of depth in the harmonics, and the way they get away with it in psytrance is they fade it out really fast, that effect that you're receiving. So I could emulate it by taking away the sustain on my, have that, just that little bit of scratch or whatever you want to call it. Let me just bring the volume up there a bit. And that's going to give me some of what I'm looking for. Beyond that, I can make the envelope roll off, and that would definitely warm it up. So something like, and without resonance, it would be it would be a waste if there wasn't a subharmonic on these bases. So that's easy for me. Like, I can just add a sine, and I don't think a deeper one matters. So it's that current, maybe. So they shouldn't sustain. They shouldn't. Oh, maybe they should. And I think the amount of velocity that should be on any of these is about 50%. So this is what I call cleanliness. Like it's pretty much just a clean sawtooth wave with some signs under it, and if I play around with the peak of the envelope on this, like, I'll get all sorts of different expressions of the same. So the thing is, like, there is not enough fattening on this. It doesn't sound like there's enough wavelets in the treble range, and the way that modern artists seem to often make up for it is by just adding some chorus, and it quickly fills out. I've been playing around with making that happen even more. So I'm going to try a little stack on it quickly and see if that works for us in this case. So the idea is I drag a corpus. Is it corpus? Let's avoid corpus right now. I'm just going to use a regular chorus. So you're going to hear this like, it's almost like Airwolf. Got this massive chorus. And the closer it is, the more like it's almost like a three-dimensional. And that fattening is like exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to take this and I want to run this through a utility that's going to get me to get rid of the bass in stereo and make it only mono bass, and then widen the stereo. Now, this is sustaining a bit much for my liking. I'm going to play around with the decay settings for a sec. Um, so that's going to be on my different oscillators. So that's roughly as clean as it should be. I feel like it's peaking a bit heavily on the. Okay, so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that out. It does seem like it's a bit heavy on the harmonics, but I can easily drop that down later on, so it's not such a big deal. I'm not in love with that bass, but I might fall in love with it when it has everything else attached to it. So I'm not gonna make any judgments about it quite yet. Um, Not often does a bass line sound that good without anything else, anyways. I'm gonna give this. Uh, let's drop a kick on this. I'm just gonna get some sustain. I like that. Um, Let me get a drum bass on that. Give it some boom. Bring the decay down. Perfect. So if you wondered how I did that, that's just an operator with pitch envelope on it. The pitch envelope set to decay really fast, and then the oscillator also decays pretty fast. The oscillator is about 150, and the ramp on the pitch is probably about 30 to 40 usually. Alright, so let's see what that does with a... I don't know if this should get sidechained. I'm gonna try and automate the filter on the, maybe give it some ramping. I kind of like that. It's a bit too much on the. That sounds better. Alright, so I got that automation happening on the filter instead of doing it with a sidechain. Sidechain compressors, so that I don't actually get rid of any volume. I'm just cutting away some of the treble, and I think I might just do the opposite of that and just cut some away on the bass while I'm doing that. And then you can imagine it'll be like a band pass that opens up as it expands, kind of like a rubber band. I've never tried this yet, but I think it's gonna work. Might be a bit thin. Yeah, I like that sound. It's a bit on the rattly sound. Rattly side of stuff. There we go. So it's like growling, but it's not. I almost feel like this could be harsher. Yes. About there. So it's got like that little bit like a techno. Must be coming from the feedback. That's very nice. I like that. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of feedback on the signs here. So this is a very complex bass. Like there isn't a lot of room for wiggle left in it. Maybe let's just get rid of some of these automated filters. I think this could use some shaping as well. I think that's it. Let's bring the there's something about the clickiness here. I don't know which one is. Dogs are going wild. Alright, so I see a really, really thin, simple snare, maybe. Like it has to be really, really simple to work with this. I think it could almost be. Let me try just a little bit of white noise that fades out. Something like very simple. That sounds good. So I'm gonna take like maybe just some distorted sines and just make my old hi-hat trick happen. Get a nice metallic hi-hat. That'll do. All right, so obviously one of them we're tapping away on the 16th. Maybe just get some filters out on that one before I do anything else. Maybe the other way around. There we go. I guess the offbeats, is that the offbeat? Yeah, that's the offbeat. So all the offbeats would be, there we go. And then something like that. Hmm. So, the mainstay of psychedelic music is sound effects. Without sound effects, it wouldn't really be very psychedelic at all. I think I'm just quickly gonna wrap in some basic psychedelic constructs and then we'll see what this can sound like. So when your sound effects get out of whack, just drop an art on it. Arts are available. It's just a multi-band. Oh, that's not the one. It's just a multi-band filter that basically forces the treble, the mids, and the bass to be in a specific range. And it's like basically what you would describe as way too much multi-band compression. But what it does is it gives you this very even output for sound effects. So if I run that through a bandpass, crazy. Okay, so let's get some overlapping. Okay. So what this is just like really pumped up auto filters, and currently they've got square shapes on them. I can change those shapes. The resonance is just turned up really high on these, and they're playing out through an art, so the art is like really controlling it. And here without the art, they're a little bit more wild. Like that wildness can also be quite cool, but then they get quickly into the ear disturbing range if you're not careful. We'll quickly take some of these and see if we can wangle us some sound effects out of them. So I'm going to make a few duplicates of these. Let's take 4. Let's get a longer loop on each. They're going to take turns playing these. Just give you a rough idea of what we can do. Making soundscapes that start by sounds that are derived from a single one. So we've got all 4 of these. We're going to play them taking turns. So I'm going to move one of them into the next bar. Move one of them into the bar after that. Put one of them in the final bar. Now they're taking turns playing. I'm going to modify them a bit, and then we'll see what we can get out of them. Starting to get the idea. So now I can just space them a bit further apart. enforce a standard of treble. It'll have enough treble no matter what. That sometimes brings out little sounds that you would normally not hear. Like that. Alright, so let's see if I can. So what I want to do is I'm going to get like a channel going that's got another one of those moving auto filters. Like that. And then put it on maybe 16ths. And then give these echo. See if I can record a round of that. Now, manipulating that speed that filter is moving at can give me some really interesting details there. So, what I'm feeling here is that, yeah, I feel like this could have a little bit of maybe sustain that falls away or something. Yeah, so it gets softer and softer. So what I feel like this is missing right now is it's like it's got a lot of like mid-range bass, but it doesn't have like any kind of bass sounds that can like operate in the treble range. So it's cool that that's left open, because what we can do now is we can make like, we can employ basses that don't actually have any bass in them. They can just be treble, and like like that. And if we spread it out a bit, we can get some chorus on that. Something's missing there. There we go. That kind of like little bass details, that can really bring out a lot in a track. Like, let's see if I can bring another one in there. Kind of thing. Yeah. Well, as usual, I've been way too busy enjoying making music and not nearly busy enough talking, but this has been very good practice. My peeps, I think this is where I'm going to leave this session. I'm going to save this set and see if I can turn it into something in due course. Let's see, sound design one. I'm also going to check back on this video and see what happened, because like I want to turn these design sessions into something that can be useful to listen to and also produce tracks for people to play. And it would be nice to be able to communicate what I'm busy doing while I'm doing it. This serves as practice for me to learn how to do that. This is a learning experience for me, as it might be for some of you. Um, Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for checking this out. This has been my first live sound design session like this. This is the product that I've come up with. Personally, I think it's a little bit too melodic. Um, I'd be working on rid of the bass melody, maybe comparing the bass line with some modern tracks and seeing how I can get even closer to what's happening these days. Maybe upping the tempo. I did like it when it was faster, but depends on what kind of sounds I can mesh in with it and whether it's suitable for like high tech, full on, or a progressive space. Like it hasn't quite found its home yet. Hopefully, in future sessions, we can go a little bit faster. I can explain a little bit more of what I'm doing, and we can go a little bit more into the ethos of these kinds of sounds and why I use the tools that I use. I hope you've enjoyed this session, though, my first practice round, so to speak. There's going to be many more of these. Hopefully, I'm going to improve the setup with time. It's hard to get the live thing going with screen captures. I might have to switch to video for that reason. I enjoy working live, though it almost feels like I'm wasting my time when I'm not working live. So I guess it just applies to my personality and how I work, how I think. Hopefully, with time, this is going to get better. Maybe I can make it easier for you guys to see what I'm busy doing by positioning the camera better. I kind of had it set up behind me like this so that you guys can see what I'm busy doing on the screen just a little bit. This isn't the kind of thing where you can expect me to tell you each button that you should click on if you want to do stuff like this. This kind of thing is more talking about where the sounds come from, regardless of what software you use, what synthesizer you use, what kind of process, whether you're patching Eurorack somewhere on a wall and it costs you $500,000, or whether you're doing the patches by building chains in Ableton, or whether you're using an old version of FL Studio. It really doesn't matter what tools you're using. The thought behind it stays the same. The idea of synthesizing doesn't change. And that's what I want to express with my sessions is that in principle these ideas remain the same. What changes is our workflows, our tools. We make it easier for ourselves to do these things faster, and the technology gets better so that we can do it quicker. We can do it live eventually, and that's what I'm busy developing as an artist. I hope you've enjoyed this session. This is Moonshine. I've been working on the Ableton Push 2 using Ableton Live 10. The audio is recorded on a phone using a Focusrite audio device to produce the real-time connection from a laptop. I have made all of these sounds using Operator. If you'd like more information or specifics of how I do it, I'm happy to make more videos. Please let me know how you feel about it and share it if you like it. This has been Moonshine. Have a nice